evening, and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King. We'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind, and that one purpose is delivering the message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, ever will happen, was made to happen by God. God has a master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by, is produced by the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. The Society is an interdenominational, religious, spiritual organization. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there is one belief that we share. There is one piece of knowledge that we hold in common, and that's the knowledge that there is a being, by no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being, whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus, Buddha, Jehovah, nature, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. We know that there is indeed an almighty being. That's the reason we do this show, and the only reason we do the show, to deliver the message that that being that personally I call God, that being is indeed almighty. Today is January the 12th, 2017. I remind you of that fact because tonight, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. And I remind you of that fact because this show is an open discussion. It's a two-way conversation. You see the telephone numbers that are on your screen. I invite you to use those numbers. Call in if there's something that's going on in your church, your mosque, your synagogue, your masjid, your temple, your place of worship, and you want to let the world know about it. Call in and let the world know about it. If there's something that's going on in your nonprofit organization and you want to let the world know about it, call in and let the world know about it. More important than what's going on in your place of worship, more important than what's going on in your nonprofit organization, if there's something that God has done for you in your life, a miracle that God has worked in your life. I'm going to repeat that, a miracle that God has worked in your life, because the God I'm here to tell you about works miracles. The God I'm here to tell you about didn't stop working miracles thousands of years ago. The God I'm here to tell you about worked miracles today. January the 12th, 2017, worked miracles. So if God has worked a miracle in your life, call in and share your testimony with the world. You know, it may have been some trying times that you went through. Maybe it was some health problems that you had. Maybe it was some financial problems. Maybe some relationship problems. And God made a way to see you through it. Call in, share your testimony with the world. You know, it may be someone that's watching this show right now or will watch it when it's rebroadcast, someone that will hear your testimony and that will encourage them, give them strength, help them to hold on until things get better. So call in and share your testimony with the world. I keep saying share it with the world because that's right. This show, as I speak right now, this show is being seen not only here in the city of New Orleans, not only in the state of Louisiana, not only in the United States of America, but as I speak right now, this show is being seen live around the world. That's right, folks out in Sri Lanka, India, can tune in the message right now. You see the website that's on your screen right now, and that's www.livestream.com/messengerdnk. I invite you to log that website into your web browser. Lock it in. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can visit that website and watch the message live. Our other website, that's www.godisalmighty.org. That's our main website, www.godisalmighty.org. Lock that into your web browser. And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can go to either one of those websites and watch the message live on Thursdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Time on Thursdays, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can go there and watch pre-recorded episodes of the message. And not only are we live in the city of New Orleans on television, not only are we live on the World Wide Web, but we are live on Facebook. And all of our Facebook viewers, thank you for tuning in. And I invite you to send your comments. And you see me looking down, I look to see the comments, and as they come in, and I want to, we have Brother Corey. Brother Corey, I see that you're checking in on Facebook. So, you know, if you have a comment, I invite you to share your comment. So, and our, for those of you that are watching by TV, our Facebook page is my name, Donatus N. King, Danatus, middle initial N, King, King. So we're on Facebook Live, and you can always watch us there. I've been speaking kind of quick this evening because we have a very full show. We have some guests that are in the studio tonight, and I'll be introducing them in a second. One young lady's been on the show previously, and matter of fact, let's do this. Let's just welcome them now, and I want to welcome Miss Joy Peterson and Miss Betty Davis. Welcome to the message, and you all are going to share some information, and that information is going to be relating to, why don't you tell us with fibromyalgia. Why don't you, Ms. Peterson, you've been on the show previously. Why don't you just share with us a little bit about fibromyalgia?
Well, fibromyalgia is a chronic pain disease. It's pain in the muscles, joints, the entire body. I usually explain it when, who, where, and how. Usually it's men, women, and children. It gives you brain fog where it takes away your memory. Where some type of trauma, it could be a car accident or surgery, any type of trauma. Or it could be genetic. Science has found out it can be genetic now. Also, what am I missing, Betty? I know I'm missing something.
Well, you said about it could be genetic, and then it could cause. Can it come from medications that we use, or?
Yeah, it's possible.
Possible.
Yeah, some medications.
Some medications that affect the nerves.
Then the main thing is you're constantly in pain.
24/7.
It's a silent killer.
Let me ask you a question, and this is so that our viewers are aware. And these are maybe some questions, some common questions. Okay, you've talked about some of the symptoms and about how it's contracted. Is this something that you can catch from one person to another?
No,
absolutely not.
Okay.
No way.
All right. And you've mentioned about how it can affect you not only physically but also mentally.
Yes, definitely. You have no quality of life, in other words. It's just...
Yeah, you live chronic pain every day.
If you don't know God, you have no faith, you won't make it.
You won't.
You won't make it with this disease.
All right. Well, you know, you kind of anticipated one of my questions. And ladies, I'm going to ask, if you will, this microphone here, if you could just kind of share that between you all.
Sure.
And that's going out to our Facebook. You mentioned that if you don't have God, you can't make it.
Hopeless.
So now, if you can just share with our viewers, in addition to your faith, folks that are out there and may be experiencing this, what are some, other than your faith, what are some other coping techniques that you all use?
Well, we use exercising and aquatic therapy. We've started liturgical praise now in place of the exercise, which gives us a more extended version of praise and worship.
Yes, we have a support group. And a lot of people don't have access to get to the meetings. But when you get there, you will find love and comfort because we all share the same disease. So we hug and we share scriptures, and we also share our individual experiences and how old we were when we first found out we had fibromyalgia. Because a lot of times doctors said we were hypochondriacs and they didn't know what was wrong with us. Because it's mostly women, 80% women, 20% men. But they found it's a real ailment. I've been checked on more than one occasion, come back positive with fibromyalgia. But it make you think you're having a heart attack.
Okay.
And it does give you all types of pain in various joints, muscles, tissues. And I spend a lot of time praying and rubbing because some of the medicines are harsh. So we rub and pray. And we both love to sing. Joy has been really getting into the singing, and I love to sing also. Sometimes even singing helps our pain. If we really begin to feel it, it eases it.
All right, there are a few things I want to touch on, and just a little bit more. You mentioned about the support group.
Yes.
Hey, can you give us some contact information on the support group?
Sure. We meet twice a month. On the third Saturday, we meet at East Jeff Wellness Center for 2:00, and fourth Saturdays we meet at the Council on Aging in Chalmette for 2:00. And you'll find it to be very advantageous. One problem we're having is transportation. A lot of people don't drive. A lot of people don't have vehicles. A lot of people don't have the family support that they really need. I've just been totally blessed and fortunate to have the support I need. And God has given me this challenge, because it is a challenge to reach out to other people and help people as much as I possibly can.
All right, so do you all have a website?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's www.faithhopefibro.org.
Okay.
FaithHopeandFibromyalgia.org.
Well, the website is faithhopefibro.org, and the Facebook is facebook.com/faithhopeandfibromyalgia.
All right, and viewers, if you haven't had an opportunity to get that information, you can always give me a call, and we will get that information to you. I understand we have a caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm trying to hear y'all.
All right.
Thank God for y'all.
Minister Antoine.
Thank you.
It's Minister Antoine Brown.
How you doing, Minister?
I'm blessed and highly favored. I wanted you to send out a praise for the Affinities nursing home. All right. Send out a praise for them.
All right.
Prayer, because they need a pouring out of an anointing over their lives.
All right. All right.
That's but me too as well.
Okay, that's
Affinity. Also got a show that comes on at 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. on 76 Cox Cable.
All right.
Also, inviting you to an open invitation at the MeTV studio the third Friday, January the 20th at 3:30 p.m. I will be having a breakthrough prayer explosion, which will be airing, I'm going to say 6 Sundays on MeTV, 117, 7:30 a.m. in the morning. I thank God for how He's using my life, and I thank God for how He's blessing my life. And I thank God for the open doors that you have made into my life too as well, Messenger.
All right. Minister Brown, why don't you give us an update on your housing situation?
Update on my housing. Chris called me, and I'm waiting to hear from another lady, if this lady going to call me back or not, or whatever. I'm still looking for something, because right now, I do have an eviction, which I'm going to fight it. I thank God for it, but
we heard about it.
All right. All right. Well, keep us updated.
I want to share an apartment with somebody.
Well, keep us.
If I have to share it, I don't mind doing it.
Right, keep us updated, and I know that our viewers are contacting me, and I'm passing that information along to you. But keep us updated, and we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that your housing situation is resolved.
I appreciate that.
All right, Brother Chris. And for those of you, Minister Antoine Brown. Minister Brown is looking for some housing, either in Baton Rouge or here in the city of New Orleans. He's a single man, so that's about as much space as he needs. So if you have something that's available, you know of something that's available, you can give me a call, and that number is 504-821-3221. That's 504-821-3221, and I'll get that information over to Minister Brown. Or you can hit me up with a message on Facebook. Either way, it's great that we have the social media now, and we can put that social media to good use.
It's a blessing.
It is a blessing.
It is a blessing.
Yes.
It is a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Hey, this is some information, and we want to get back to the discussion about fibromyalgia, and it's something that you mentioned earlier that even though 80% of the diagnosed patients are females, this does affect males.
Yes.
Males and children.
Males
And children.
And
Yes.
children.
Okay. For those parents and grandparents, how is it diagnosed in a child? I know it's difficult to diagnose it in an adult. So how is it diagnosed in a child?
The same way, basically, it's diagnosed in adults. There are certain trigger points that
18
trigger points that have to be
tested.
just the testing is very
Important.
intense.
It's intense.
It's so painful, but it's something you have to go
Because it
through.
involves our nerves.
Yes,
Okay.
and the fibromyalgia, what is done to me, it has added on spinal stenosis, neuropathy.
Me too.
Oh my God, we have so much in common. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to
Join
bring
together
Betty,
because we have so much
it's
in
like
common.
14 different diagnoses now,
Yes.
and for over 24 years, and I'm 62 years old,
Right.
so I haven't seen, the best part
And there's
of my
no cure.
years.
No.
But one thing I want to say that's very important. I am a walking testimony.
Come on now.
I'm a
Yes,
walking
I am
testimony.
too.
All right.
I could have been dead and gone a long time ago.
Me
Many
too.
other ways other than the fibromyalgia.
Yes.
And I'm just so blessed, and I thank God for you.
Yes, we
We're-
both do.
I thank
Well,
God
well,
for
ladies,
you.
let's get into that. And when I say get into that, sometimes you can reach people better the more personal it is. So if we can just take a few minutes and let each of you share your personal stories with our viewers, and it may be something that you've gone through or going through that just might touch a nerve and touch someone that's watching the show and help them. So we'll start, Ms. Davis. Why don't we start with you?
Well, personally, my experience started after Katrina. I was doing a lot, trying to live in a place that wasn't livable, but I tried to clean it for those 6 months we were there. And I had a lot of pain in my chest area, and I had pains in the back area of my back. So I went to emergency, and they told me about epidurals, which I never had one before. So then I took one, but they're extremely painful also. And they don't give a lot of relief, even though they pretend. So I said, what am I going to do now with this fibromyalgia, adding on to my asthma and my diabetes and the osteoarthritis? I said, this is like, I feel like my plate's overfull, running over full. So I started praying, and I met Joy and another friend of ours named Gail, and we all shared the same thing. We had the trigger points, the brain fog, when sometimes you forget where you put things, and you be looking around for them, and gradually you find them. But the pain is so constant, you can't think straight. And people don't understand it. They don't. They're very confused by it because they're not hurting like us. And if they just could have one day of it, they would understand. And even the doctors tell us various means of helping, but they don't have, they tried Savella, it didn't work. Lyrica causes facial and your hands and feet swell. That's the only one they got, Lyrica. and it doesn't work. I tried it, and she did. And
It gave me heart problems.
Yeah, it gave her a heart problem, and it swelled me up bad. I just my feet enhanced. My face swelled.
Right.
So we had to discontinue, but they had nothing else. It comes on TV. Once they give you the good points, they tell you all the negative points.
Right.
Even could be fatal to you. So you just can't take these drugs.
Right.
We feel they need to really put, like they always wanted to go out in space, do all that craziness. In my mind, I'm very much a Christian like her. I trust in God. I think He didn't want He put us up there if He wanted us there.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like more money should be spent to things on Earth to help Earth be livable. Why try to make outer space livable when you weren't meant to live in the first place?
Now, I want to just interrupt for a minute and reflect on what you said. Okay, you shared with us about how the different drugs, the different side effects, and that some of them really are not that effective. But earlier you touched upon something about how your faith has helped you.
Yes. My faith has helped me to do without it, to keep looking, but every time I get medicine, the side effects that are bad, even though doctors don't want to discuss it, I just get off of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like I told earlier, I go to Castellan's Pharmacy, Walgreens, right? I find things that are there, and I take my body and pray over me, and I rub my body. And I be praying, asking for healing in Jesus' name. And I tell him I'm waiting on him, I believe on him that he is going to, but in his own time. But that my life would be a testimony of others out there who are suffering much as I am and don't even know what to call it.
Right. All right, Ms. Peterson, why don't you share a little bit about your experience?
Well, in 1992, I was in an auto accident that caused severe neck problems. It caused me to have to resign from my job, which I had a real good job in administration at a hospital. Also, it moved down to my back about 4 or 5 years later. Not knowing why or what was wrong, I knew something else was wrong because my whole body started hurting. At that particular time, I refused to accept any pain. I refused to accept any negativity. I had a career that was about to take me on tour to Vegas. I could have gone out of the country if I wanted, but I'm a musician, songwriter, vocalist. I teach kids the arts. And, God gave me all these talents, but there was something I didn't get that God was trying to tell me and show me the whole time. And that was, ma'am, you're going to be working for me.
Come on now. All right.
I want you to do something else. Until I realized that this is not what God wanted me to do. He didn't want me to be in the secular part of the world. He wanted me to do everything for him, and that's all I do. I can't do anything but that because he's been so good to me.
Right.
I had a doctor that told me last year, oh, you look good. He kept saying, oh, you look good. I hadn't seen him in about a year. Oh, you're a rheumatologist. I'm not going to call his name. Oh, you look so good. Oh, come back and see me in 6 months. Didn't give me anything.
Right.
And I was sent to him for, and, we get that a lot. We get the fact that these doctors will not help us like they should. Mm-hmm. And we put that in God's hand, too, because we know without him, nothing is possible. Right. Nothing is possible. So getting back to, I'm sorry, stray off.
Let the Spirit work with you.
Getting back to, I was lying in bed one day, and I was crying. Dr. Jeanette Saloni, this lady had fibromyalgia, this doctor. So she knew what I was going through. And she said, you have fibromyalgia. I said, fibro who? What? Yeah. She said, oh, Joy. She knew me. She said, oh, you can be a spokesperson. I'm like, I started crying. I'm like, this lady is really, really crazy. How can I be a spokesperson for something I know anything about?
Right.
Never heard of it before in my life. And I went home, I went to bed, and I lied there and I cried and I prayed out to God. As a matter of fact, I laid on my face and cried out to God. And
We
I
do a lot
said,
of praying.
what
Right.
was it He wanted
Right.
me to do? And He gave me faith, hope, and fibromyalgia. We know we have to have hope. We
Yes.
have to have faith
Yes.
to make it. And the fibromyalgia, we've opened the group up to chronic people in chronic pain because that's basically what it is, chronic pain all the time.
All the time.
And I said, wow, kids go through this? That hurt.
It hurt
that
me
hurt
too.
so bad.
Right.
And that's when I knew I had to do something.
Right.
And that's when I went to my entertainment attorney. She did a 501c3 for us, and here we are, 7 years. March 30th would be 7 years.
Yes.
Right. And again, that website is
www.faithhopefibro.org.
all right. There are no commas in there. www.faithhopefibro.org. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this segment of the show up, but before we wrap it up, I just we have maybe about 2 minutes. And ladies, is there any information that you want to get out? Any final words you want to get out to our viewers before we go to a break? And Ms. Davis, let's start with you. Any final words?
Well, I want those women not to be afraid to come forward, not to think it's just a mental illness, a hypochondria, to know it's real. And we want all of us to bond together. So in the strength in numbers.
Right.
So we want us to bond and strengthen our faith and console each other when we do a lot of crying.
Right.
The pain is just that intense.
All right.
And that's what I want. That's my hope, that all the women that are suffering with this illness, this disease, would come forth.
All right.
And we bond.
All right. And the meeting days are
Third Saturday of each month at the East Jeff Wellness Center, and the fourth Saturday of each month at Council on Aging in Chalmette.
in Chalmette.
And one quick thing, you can donate to the website. On the website, you can donate PayPal. You can donate Capital One Bank. You can donate.
eBay,
We have
eBay.
No, we have a GoFundMe page now.
Well,
so
they can-
for transportation,
All
we
right.
need
All
transportation.
right, well, they can go to the website and
Yes,
they get
sir.
all those opportunities that are there on the website. So, about 30 seconds, Ms. Peterson, as far as any final words.
I just would like more people to come to the meeting and not expect me to be able to be on the phone all the time, because there's so many people that I'm trying to reach out to, and the phone thing just takes a lot of time. If you come to the meeting, I promise you will get something out of it.
All right, now what we're going to have to do is make sure that if you give me a call during the week,
Yes, sir.
so the way we do our announcements and have them on the board every show,
Okay.
so make sure that we can put your website and your contact
Wonderful.
information
Thank
on
you
there.
so
Wonderful.
much.
Because
All right,
that's
well-
what we want.
All right, well, ladies, look, it's been a pleasure having you here on the show, and I say it's a pleasure because we've shared. Okay? We've shared, and there may be someone that, you said something, Ms. Davis. You said that a message that you gave to ladies just now, and it wasn't just confined to ladies, but don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Don't think
and
that
men don't be afraid, especially.
Yes.
All right, don't think you're a hypochondriac.
Dude,
That it is.
That's what you used to be labeled.
All right, but it is real.
It's real.
It
It's
is
real, a real
All right.
disease.
Deadly.
All right, Ms. Peterson.
Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Ms.
Ms.
Thank you
Davis.
so much
God
for
bless
having us.
you.
It's been
I
great.
know Spirit led us here.
All right, look, the Almighty is going to have us where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be
Yes,
there.
Yes.
because
All
we
right.
want to bring this
Amen.
attention for a long time.
Amen.
All right, we're going to have you, well, this isn't your first time, but we'll have you back on the show also, Ms.
I'd
Davis.
love to come.
All right. All right. Well, viewers, we're going to take a brief break, and it might be a little bit extended. It might be, several minutes. When we come back, we'll put our announcements up as we usually do, and we'll go into continuing to deliver the message that God is Almighty. And when I say continuing, because the segment that we just had with the young ladies speaking about fibromyalgia, and you heard them say that when the medicine doesn't work, there's another remedy that they turn to, and that remedy is the Almighty. All right. So we're gonna be back here briefly. So just you have time enough to go fix your sandwich. Go fix your sandwich. Get your cold drink, and we'll be back here on The Message.
From drug or alcohol addiction sometimes say hurtful things. They drive the people who love them most away. If you know someone who suffers from drug or alcohol addiction, listen. Try to hear what they are really saying. Know that there is hope and help them find their voice again. For drug or alcohol treatment referral for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We train to any environment, any situation. It could be up on a mountain, on a cliff, it could be in the ocean, it could be a dive mission, it could be out in the desert or the jungle, Arctic, and that's what makes us unique. The motto of the pararescuemen is that others may live. When you go and you rescue these people, the look on their faces is extremely gratifying, and that's the reward in itself. I'm Captain John Fish, and very proud to be a member of the Air Force Reserve.
For a free booklet on the dangers of smoking, contact the Will Rogers Institute.
My name is Juliet Allen, and I've been here since 1960. And this is my home, my new home, which was replaced after Katrina and the levees failed. But all my neighbors, there are so many of them that we all lost our homes at that time. But with the Lord's help, they'll be back too, and He'll give it a try. I hope this never happens again, though. We need the 829 investigation. It's so important. Our lives depend on it.
Home invaders least wanted. Could you be the next victim? American cockroach spreads 33 bacteria and 6 parasitic worms.
And I can trigger asthma attacks.
House mouse contaminates food and transmits disease.
He's lying. Do I look like that kind of girl?
Bedbug feeds on human blood and can cause itchy welts.
Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do about it?
Here's what. Arm yourself with the facts at pestworld.org.
Every child is curious. George, look what I found. Turn their curiosity into a lifelong love of learning.
That's a periscope.
It's one of the most important gifts you can share. Create a curious reader.
Oh, you want to build a castle like that one? This is super bedtime reading.
Share a book together today. Visit read.gov.
Yeah, but did you see how much he had to drink last night? I can't believe that guy made it home. Nobody drives drunk anymore. Hold on, I got another call coming in.
While drunk driving rates have dropped greatly, negligent driving and speeding fatalities have skyrocketed. Someone dies every 13 minutes from negligent driving, so keep your hands on the wheel, your eyes on the road, and your phone put away.
Zydeco to me is my life. I grew up listening to this music and said, this don't look too hard to do. My Louisiana is a lot of things. Coming out to the Blue Moon, po' boys at Old Time Grocery. For the best crawfish, you gotta come to my house. We got a saying, tous les jours c'est pas la même chose, which means every day is not the same thing. This area is about having a good time no matter what's going on. I'm Terrence Simeon, and this is my Louisiana.
Kids today are full of video games, computers, and cell phones. It's too much of a good thing. Get some nature into your kids. Fill them full of natural wonders, like watching the bald eagle soar, ride the rivers, fish the streams. This weekend, fill your family with the wonders of nature at a national wildlife refuge near you. Many are within an hour's drive. For locations, visit fws.gov/refuges.
America is turning over a new leaf. The SmartWay leaf from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The SmartWay leaf will help you identify environmentally friendlier cars and trucks that can save you money. These vehicles are certified to be more fuel efficient and produce fewer greenhouse gases. And look for renewable fuels to improve our energy independence. Follow the leaf to epa.gov/smartway.
Never speak to strangers. Don't give your name, address, or telephone number to someone you don't know. And always tell me if something or someone frightens you. These are rules we give our kids to keep them safe even when we're not around.
Did you know that the same advice applies to the online world of the internet? Children can be lured into dangerous situations even in the safety of our own homes. Please talk to your kids about how to stay safe online. For tips and information, go to www.ikeepsafe.org.
I took a trip to Elkhart, Indiana today. Elkhart's a place that has lost jobs faster than anywhere else in America. The people who've lost them have no idea what to do or who to turn to. In fact, local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand.
My name is Mina Cray. I have been in New Orleans since 1950. I came here for jazz and never left. I had 3 fairly close friends who had AIDS, and I felt the need to do something for them in honor of them because they're all gone.
Please donate today.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world where children don't play, or dream, or imagine.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Call now or log on to stjude.org.
Every parent wants the very best for their child, and the very best includes getting your child vaccinated on time to help protect against serious vaccine-preventable diseases. Hi, this is Heidi Murkoff, author and president of the What to Expect Foundation. I've written the new What to Expect Guide to Immunizations, a free handbook for new and expecting parents, to help answer the questions you may have about the vaccines your child needs. The guide will take the mystery out of vaccinations and even help with some of the ouch. It tells you what you need to know about each vaccine, including those combo vaccines, and it answers questions you probably have, like why are vaccines so important, and are vaccines safe? Vaccinations are one of the most important and successful public health advances in history, and they're also one of the best ways to keep your child healthy. To learn more about how to protect your child from serious diseases, visit whattoexpect.org, download the guide, and talk to your doctor about the vaccines recommended for your child. A public service message from the What to Expect Foundation.
You have email.
Do you know what you're looking at? You're looking at a cyberbully. You rarely see one because they hide behind the nasty emails and text messages they send out about other people, about kids at school, people online. Cyberbullies would never sign their name because they're too... If you ever get a cyberbully message from one of these, don't read it, delete it, report it. That'll ruffle their feathers.
And help take a bite out of cyberbullying.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
When you think of the reasons people end up in the ER, you probably wouldn't think of West Nile virus from mosquitoes, asthma attacks from cockroaches, hantavirus from rodents, or Lyme disease from ticks. Even bites from fire ants and other stinging insects send 500,000 people here every year. But you could make a difference in helping to protect your family from pest-related illnesses. Go to pestworld.org to learn how. Why wait until there's an emergency?
Welcome back to The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King, and we're going to finish the show out for the next few minutes, and that's delivering the message that God is Almighty. Let's go. It was great having our guests in the studio earlier today, delivering that information, sharing that information about fibromyalgia. And again, if you didn't have an opportunity to write down their contact information, you can always give me a call, and I'll get that information to you. And hopefully in the next weeks, we'll have that information up on the screen. All right, let's go right to our messages today. Religious spiritual study, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. And that's coming out of the first book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21. Words of inspiration tonight will come out of the book of Genesis, chapter 42, verses 6 through 12. Announces Brother Chris's prayer line. And I know it's a little bit difficult to see the screen on Facebook, and I see that, but just go along with me. Brother Chris's prayer line, 504-866-5042. Open Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Meditation training, 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Bible study and Cope Line. Here are the new days and times, Monday through Friday, 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Again, that's free. The phone number, again, 504-866-5042. The suggested readings coming out of the book of James, Peter, and John. You heard me earlier talk about our main website, and that's www.godisalmighty.org, www.godisalmighty.org. You can visit that main website, and there are links to all of our social media outlets. There's a religious discussion blog, our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Minister Antoine Brown's prayer line. You heard Mr. Brown call in a few minutes ago. That number is 504-214-1379. And if you want to drop him a line, send him a postcard or a letter, that address is P.O. Box 94 in Violet, Louisiana, 70092. Peacekeepers in New Orleans, 504-723-3976. The Beef Hotline. We reminded that we need an intern to come help us produce this show, produce the message. So anyone that's out there, if you're tech savvy or if you know of someone that's trying to get into the field as far as the media, the multimedia, give me a call, and you can possibly be an intern helping to produce this multimedia show. And again, I say multimedia because we're being seen not only on television, but we're on various outlets on the World Wide Web. Renaissance One is hiring, so if you know someone that needs a job, let them call Renaissance One, and that's 504-243-1901. Rock of Ages Ministry International, Apostle Ronnie Bailey, and that web address, main web address, is www.ronniebailey.com. St. Joan of Arc Catholic Church, 8321 Birch Street here in the city of New Orleans. Services are Saturdays 4 p.m., Sundays 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Call 311 for smoke detectors. Please don't leave children in your car. Please check your car for children in the back seat. Glory Land Congregational Baptist Church, 4541 America Street here in the city of New Orleans. The number 504-242-8444. The Reverend Adam Lee is the pastor teacher. Sunday school, 9 a.m. Worship service Sundays, 10:30 a.m. Prayer service Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Bible study Tuesdays, 7:15 p.m. McDonald 35 is having a brick sale. You know, McDonald 35 is commemorating a special celebration. That website, you see it on the screen there, McDonald 35 Alumni Association at yahoo.com. St. Paul AME, a revival, started today, January the 12th, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., and that's at 8540 Coin Street, Uptown area, the Carrollton area of New Orleans. The pastor, Fred Fields, is the pastor there. Reverend Fred Fields is the pastor there. And as you see on the screen at LB, that's LB McMillan, is one of the coordinators, along with her sister Jacqueline McMillan, coordinators of the event. So that'll be not only today, but also tomorrow, January the 13th. The God is Almighty Worldwide Message Tour. We will be in Sicily Island, Monroe, Louisiana, Sicily Island, Louisiana, and that's going to be February 12th to the 14th. So those of you that live in that Monroe area, come on out. We'll give you some more specific information as far as exactly where we'll be, but we will be in the Sicily Island, Monroe, Faraday, Louisiana, that area, February 12th to the 14th. You're reminded that we celebrate the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that is this coming Monday, January the 16th, 2017. And then also on the Tuesday, there is a memorial, and that will be held 6117 St. Claude Avenue. That's Tuesday from 6 to 9. Again, religious spiritual study, prove all things, hold fast that which is good, coming out of the first book of Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. All right, words of inspiration coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 42. That's where we left off last week. Chapter 42, verses 6 through 12. Okay. All right, here we go. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. Now, we touched on that briefly last week, and one of the things that reminded us, that was a prophecy. Joseph had foresaw that in a dream. And he had told his mother and father and his brothers about that dream. And that was one of the reasons that his brothers really didn't care too much for him. That's one of the reasons that they threw him in that pit and stole his coat of many colors. And now we see it coming to pass. See, sometimes God will give us a premonition, will give us an inclination. And I have to stop here for a minute. Okay, I have to stop for a minute, because some of us, and I will say my experience has been, many of us, not just some, many of us read about things in the Bible, and we will say to ourselves, we will say to everyone that's around us, oh, I believe that. You know, there's some people say, it's in the Bible, I read it, so it is true. I run into a whole lot of people like that. And let me just, for those of you that are new to the show, the purpose of this show is not to promote any particular religion over another. The purpose of this show is not even to promote religion. Understand now? Not to promote religion. The only purpose of this show is to deliver the message that God is almighty. There's an almighty being. That's the only purpose of this show. And I have to remind our viewers and myself of that, because we use the Bible a lot on this show. And it's not because we're saying that Christianity is better than any other religion, but the Bible is a book that has inside it that message that God is Almighty. And the Bible is a book that a lot of people in this area of the world, and I know we're being seen all over the world, but in this area of the world, a lot of people have this book in their homes. So that's why we use the Bible. And from time to time, we use various different other books. Hey, we've used the Egyptian Book of the Dead. We've used the Quran. Hey, we've used all different types of books to deliver that message that God is Almighty. But getting back to what I was speaking about with the Bible. See, I run into a lot of folks, and they're quick to tell you, oh yeah, it's written in the Bible, I believe it. So now this is one thing that was written in the Bible and that we're reading about right now. And that one thing is that the scriptures say that Joseph had a gift. And that gift that Joseph had was he could interpret dreams. He could prophesy. He could tell you what's going to happen in the future. And what we're reading about now is Joseph received his prophecy in a dream that his brothers would be bowing down to him. Now, see, I stop and I dwell on this because if you believe that indeed this is true, if you believe that indeed Joseph could prophesy, if you believe that, then that raises the question, if there were prophets thousands of years ago, are there prophets today? See, if God could give someone the ability to see what's going to happen in the future, if God could do that thousands of years ago, because that's what the scripture's saying. The scripture's saying that Joseph was able to predict what was going to happen. And it came out to be true. So now if God could do that, if you believe what we reading here is true, if you believe that Joseph actually had this dream and it came true, if you believe that Pharaoh, come on now, if you believe that Pharaoh had the dream and it came true, see, Pharaoh had a dream, but he didn't know what that dream meant. And Joseph is the one that interpreted the dream for him. So okay, if you believe that's true, and I'm not telling you it's true or false. I'm not telling you got to believe it. I'm not telling you it's true or false. But I am asking the question, if indeed if you believe it's true that Joseph could do this, then are there people today in the year 2017 that can do this? And if not, what happened? Did God lose some of his power? If God had the power to give Joseph that gift thousands of years ago, why can't God give that gift to someone today? This is a question. See, we read about stuff that happened thousands of years ago. We read about miracles that happened thousands of years ago. And we testify, we praise, oh yeah. But then when it comes down to today, we lose sight of that fact. You see, we want to start relying upon our own knowledge. We want to start relying upon medicine. We want to start relying upon our own powers. Didn't we have on the show tonight 2 ladies that spoke about when modern medicine fails them? Didn't we hear? Now, were they lying? When they talked about sometimes they're afraid to take these different kind of drugs because them drugs got all kind of side effects, even killing you. And then they say that they just get to the point sometimes where they just start praising God and praying. And it gives them relief. Are they lying? Well, let me ask you something. If they're not lying, if they are telling the truth, if indeed God works miracles on them, giving them relief from their pain, if God does that for them, why can't God do it for you? You see, when I was sitting here with them ladies, sitting in the same room with them, shaking their hands, they didn't seem like something extraordinary. They just seemed like everyday people. And when I talked to them, they didn't try to sound like they was, holy, and nothing else like that. They sound like everyday, ordinary people. So if God could do miracles to them, ease their pain when the medicine didn't work, God could take it just, ease their pain. God can do the same thing for you. The God I'm here to tell you about in the year 2017, working miracles in people's life. Until we meet again, as I wrap up, as always, until we meet again here next week on The Message, no matter whatever it is that you got to go through in this upcoming week, may God Almighty bless you and yours with peace.